So we will today discuss this part. We have series of curved vanes fitted on the periphery of a wheel, and a liquid jet strikes at the center of the symmetrical curved vanes. So we have a series of symmetrical curved vanes fitted on the circumference of a wheel like this. We have already discussed series of flat vanes fitted on the circumference of a wheel, and the liquid jet, when it is made to impinge on the flat vanes, we got a condition for maximum efficiency. In fact, we derived an expression for efficiency of hydraulic efficiency of um, such a case when series of flat vanes are fitted on the wheel. And we found that the condition for maximum efficiency in that case is V is equal to 2U. V is the velocity of the jet and U is the velocity of the plate, or the tangential velocity of the wheel. And the maximum efficiency that we could generate from series of flat vanes when mounted on the wheel, that is 50%. When you intend to produce power by using impact of liquid jet on such vanes. So that is 50%. And if you use a single vane and where jet strikes normally on a flat vane, then you can get 29.63. See, all these important results you have to bear in mind. And now we will consider the ultimate case when we have series of symmetrical curved vanes fitted on the periphery of a wheel. And for the sake of simplicity, I have shown 8 such curved vanes on the periphery. So it may be more. And if you take a single vane and the two-dimensional sketch is now here. So this is this shaded curve, that represents the symmetrical curved vane. Out of these the curved vanes fitted on the periphery, this is one such case, and the jet is impinging tangentially in the sense when you consider the wheel, this is tangential. So the wheel is striking, the jet is striking the vane fitted on the wheel, and the jet velocity is v, and the usual basic parameters or dimensions, diameter of the nozzle or the diameter of the jet is d, small d, and the area of cross section of the jet is a, mass density of the liquid, that is rho, and the velocity of the plate or the tangential velocity of the wheel in this case is taken as u. So when the jet impinges, the force is exerted and the vane starts moving. So we will get a torque exerted or a force exerted on the vane, and that force being tangential to the wheel, that will produce a torque, and that torque enables the wheel to rotate. So the wheel will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Let the revolution per minute, the rotational speed of the wheel, let it be n, and angular velocity omega. And we have our usual assumptions in all the cases of impact of jet on vanes. Surface of the symmetrical vane here is perfectly smooth and frictionless. And then number 2 is there is no loss of kinetic energy due to shock. So we expect a shockless entry, and as far as possible we try to provide a steady mass flow rate through the jet. So here we have the situation shown, the velocity components and all. So even though the absolute velocity is v, since the vane starts moving when the jet impinges, the effective velocity with which the jet strikes, that is the relative velocity between the jet and the plate, which in this case is v minus u, because both are horizontal now. See the direction orientation that is given, the coordinate axis x and y. So in the x direction, the jet is impinging, and the vane also moves in the x direction, so that the relative velocity is v minus u. So the effective velocity with which the jet strikes is v minus u, and the jet is deflected also with the same velocity, same magnitude of velocity v minus u. See the direction, it is deflected through an angle equal to 180 minus theta, provided the vane tip angle is theta, because already you are familiar with it. The jet is deflected, as you can see. See the point 1, that is the point of impingement, that is the center of the symmetrical vane, and the jet is deflected. And the point 2, that is representing the outlet tip. So either you can consider the top portion or the bottom portion. Both are same because of the symmetry. Axis of symmetry of the jet as well as the vane is horizontal, and the deflected jet will have a magnitude of velocity equal to v minus u because of zero kinetic energy loss due to shock. So v minus u is the magnitude of velocity of the deflected jet, and that is inclined at an angle theta to the horizontal, and the deflected jet and the incoming jet has the velocity components v1x and v2x before impingement and after the impingement in the x direction. So v1x is v minus u, that is the effective velocity with which the jet strikes the vane in the x direction. So, and after deflection, the velocity of the jet in the x direction is, what is that? V minus u cos theta, since it is inclined at an angle theta to the horizontal, but it is directed in the negative x direction. So therefore, it is taken as negative. So v2x is minus v minus u cos theta, and v1x is v minus u. So we are familiar with it already. So only thing is that the effective velocity with which the jet strikes is v minus u. And the deflected jet also has the magnitude of velocity equal to v minus u. But it is deflected through what angle? 180 minus theta. Theta is the vane angle at the tips, and it is a symmetrical vane. So mass flow rate supplied and mass flow rate striking. See, just like we considered in the case of flat vane, series of flat vanes when fitted on the wheel, here also the mass flow rate of the jet striking the curved plate or the curved vane, see, that is same as the mass flow rate supplied. Mass flow rate striking is same as the mass flow rate supplied, because when the jet strikes one vane and that moves away, the next immediately the next vane takes its position. So we are getting a situation when the jet strikes it is just like it is getting one vane in position to strike. So therefore, the mass flow rate is fully utilized. That is very important thing in such aspects when series of vanes are fitted or mounted on the wheel. So this is the consequence. So mass flow rate supplied is rho into A into V, and mass flow rate striking is also equal to rho into A into V. Applying Newton's second law of motion, the dynamic thrust or the force exerted by the jet on the curved vane when it strikes centrally in the x direction, that force is Fx, that is equal to mass flow rate striking the plate and the change in velocity of the jet in the x direction, that is v1x minus v2x. So mass flow rate is rho AV multiplied by v1x is v minus u, and what is v2x? Deflected jet velocity in the x direction is minus v minus u cos theta. So please do remember this about this negative sign, because that gives all the advantage, because minus of minus will become plus, and the change in velocity that part has increased. So that will give rise to a situation where the hydrodynamic thrust will increase. So rho A V into V minus U plus V minus U cos theta. So V minus U can be taken out. So rho A V into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta. So this is the expression for the force exerted by the jet on the plate in the x direction. So one part of the analysis is over. The next we will try to find out the work done per second by the jet on the plate, which is known as the power of the jet or output power of the jet. So work done per second by the jet on the vane, or which in this case you can say work done per second by the jet on the wheel also, because ultimately the jet is doing work on the wheel. The wheel rotates. So what is that work done per second or output power of the jet? So that is the dynamic thrust, the force exerted in the x direction. This is the tangential force when you consider the wheel, or velocity of the plate. So Fx into u. So Fx is rho A V into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta multiplied by u. So this is the work done per second or output power of the jet. That is the second part of the question now. Now, the third case, what is the input power? In order to find out efficiency, we require both input power and output power. Input power is the kinetic energy per second supplied by the jet. And in almost all the cases so far, we considered that kinetic energy per second supplied by the jet. So that is found out by half into mass flow rate supplied by the jet into velocity of the jet, absolute velocity of the jet squared. So half m dot supplied. So half into rho AV into V square. So half rho AV cube in watts. That is the input power. The work done in watts. We already obtained rho AV into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta into U. So efficiency of the jet or vane or wheel you can call, or hydraulic efficiency, that is defined as the ratio of work done per second by the jet on the vane to the kinetic energy supplied by the jet per second. So work done per second by kinetic energy per second, hydraulic efficiency you can get rho AV into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta into U divided by half rho AV cube. So you can simplify rho AV can be cancelled from both numerator and denominator. So what you get in simplified form is the efficiency is equal to 2 into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta into U divided by V square. So this is the hydraulic efficiency of the jet or the vane, or you can call hydraulic efficiency of the wheel. And now we will try to find out the condition for maximum efficiency. We got an expression for efficiency, and here the variables V, U, and the vane angle at the outlet tip, that is theta. So if you have these values, you can find out the efficiency. But for a given velocity and for a given velocity of the jet and for a given shape of the curved vane, symmetrical curved vane, that is theta is defined, then what could be the velocity of the plate or the tangential velocity of the wheel u, so that the efficiency is maximum? That is the next objective. So condition for maximum efficiency. So what is the relation between V and U in this case? So that we will try to find out. And just like we have done in all the previous cases of moving vanes, in order to maximize efficiency, we take the derivative of this expression for efficiency with respect to the velocity of the vane and equate it to 0. So d eta, eta is representing the efficiency, d eta by du, we will find that derivative and equate it to 0. So d by du of this efficiency expression, 2 into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta into U divided by V square. Remember, in this efficiency expression, this 1 plus cos theta is the factor that comes in when you consider series of curved vanes mounted on the wheel and the jet is striking at the center. When you use series of flat vanes mounted normal to the periphery of the wheel, then in that case, when you try the power extraction, the hydraulic efficiency is 2 into V minus U into U by V square. Because here this 1 plus cos theta, that is making all the difference or improvement, performance enhancement we could say. So here when you differentiate it, so what is going to happen? This expression with respect to U. So 2 by V square and 1 plus cos theta, these are all constants which you can take outside the derivative. So 2 into 1 plus cos theta by V square can be taken out of the derivative, and inside the derivative we have V minus U into U. And this factor 2 into 1 plus cos theta by V square is not equal to 0. So therefore the other factor, the other term must be 0. What is that? D by du of V into U minus U into U, that is equal to 0. When you open the bracket, Vu minus U square is the expression. You have to differentiate with respect to U. So when you differentiate, what do you get? It's very simple. The first part Vu, when you differentiate, you get V. Remember, you are differentiating with respect to U. And U square, the derivative is 2U. So V minus 2U is equal to 0. V is equal to 2U. Or U is equal to V by 2. The condition is exactly the same as the case when we used a series of flat vanes mounted on the wheel. So this is the condition which will optimize the efficiency, maximize the efficiency. In this case, V is equal to 2U. What does it mean? Velocity of the jet should be twice the velocity of the plate. Remember, velocity of the plate is same as the tangential velocity of the wheel. So U, which is equal to pi d n by 60, where d is the diameter, effective diameter of the wheel. You should use say capital D. Then n is what? N is the rotational speed of the wheel in RPM. So pi d n by 60, that is the tangential velocity of the wheel or the velocity of the curved vane U. So that U must be equal to half of the velocity of the jet for maximum hydraulic efficiency. So once you substitute this this expression, this condition, V is equal to 2U in the expression for efficiency. What is that? 2 into V minus U into 1 plus cos theta into U by V square. So you are replacing V by the value 2U. So substitute V is equal to 2U here. So 2 into 2U minus U into 1 plus cos theta into U divided by 2U whole square. And what do you get? On simplification, you will get 2U square by 4U square into 1 plus cos theta. So U square will be cancelled and you get 2 by 4 is 1 by 2. So therefore, the ultimate expression for maximum efficiency in this case is 1 plus cos theta divided by 2. So 1 plus cos theta divided by 2, that is the maximum efficiency. Of course, we have theta in this expression. Theta is the vane tip angle. So when you give the optimum value of theta, then you can have maximum hydraulic efficiency numerical value. So how do you find out that numerical value? You have to substitute an optimum value for theta for which the cos theta is maximum. So which we explained the other day also. So when theta is equal to 0, so theta is equal to 0 means the vane will be hemispherical in shape and semicircular in section. When theta is equal to 0, angular deflection is 180 minus 0, that is 180 itself. So when theta is equal to 0, cos theta is maximum. So 1 plus cos theta by 2, so that expression then will become 1 plus cos 0 by 2, that is 1 plus 1 by 2, that is equal to 1. What is that? 1 means, when you convert that into percentage, into 100. So you will get 100%. See, this hydraulic efficiency theoretically becomes 100% under all the assumptions we made when we use series of symmetrical curved veins, hemispherical curved veins fitted on the periphery of a wheel. When we use series of symmetrical curved veins, which in this case is hemispherical veins fitted on the periphery of a wheel, and the jet is striking at the center, then the maximum efficiency we can obtain is 100%, maximum hydraulic efficiency. Remember, the angle of deflection in this case is 180 degree when you use hemispherical vein, and the vein tip angle theta is 0, and the vein shape is hemispherical and semicircular in section. So this result actually has amazing consequences. And hereafter, when we discuss the Pelton wheel, so you can understand that we use, or even you must have heard about that, we use hemispherical cups or hemispherical veins in the context of Pelton turbines, because series of hemispherical cups of veins, we usually call them hemispherical buckets also, when you mount them on the periphery of a heavy wheel, which is called Pelton wheel, Pelton turbine. And very highly efficient impulse turbine design is Pelton turbine. The concepts are very much essential as we proceed further, especially when we discuss velocity triangle, and that we will do in the next class. But meanwhile, I have one more topic. See, I'll consume 10 more minutes. See, this is the topic, you know. I have taken an earlier slide. See, this is the slide. Okay. Actually, this is the very first part itself, that is a flat vein. See, as you can understand from this, see this one, a flat vein, but the orientation is not normal to the jet. So it is a flat vein but inclined. So impact a jet on an inclined flat plate. So we have some questions to answer from this. So the flat plane, when we discussed the concept initially, in almost all cases, we considered the flat plate to be normal to the jet. But in this case, flat plate is inclined, not at 90 degree, but inclined at an acute angle. Say this is it. See, what is the angle between the jet and the plate? Here, this is the jet and this is a plate. And the jet is inclined, jet issued from a nozzle is still horizontal, but it strikes the plate, which is kept at an inclined position, inclined at an angle theta to the horizontal. So the plate is inclined at an angle theta to the jet. See, this is a question actually. This is one question from the question paper. That's why it is shown like this. So Newton's second law of motion, Fn is equal to m dot into V1n minus V2n. And what is Fn? Force exerted by the jet on the plate, not in the direction of the jet, but normal to the plate. That's important. And that we find out because the plate is inclined. And for that purpose, for finding Fn, we require the velocity components before and after impact in the normal direction. See this, the velocity, this diagram that, that illustrate how you have to take V1n. What is V1n? The velocity of the impinging jet in the normal direction, V1n. So V is the velocity of the incoming jet in the x direction. X, resolve V into two components. How? V x direction lana, other one normal to the plate and one along the plate. Along the plate and then V cos theta, and normal to the plate is V sin theta. This is impinging jet in the case and deflected jet in the incoming jet. So V1n is V sin theta. V sin, that's important thing. V1n is V sin theta before impact. Now we consider after impact. So V is this one, and deflected jet magnitude of velocity and the direction is along the plate. That's a normal component. See, that's a normal component is 0, because along the plate deflected jet പോകുന്നത്. That's 90 degree component. A vector will not have any component in a direction normal to it. V2n is 0. So V1n is V sin theta. If you want to find out the force exerted by a jet on the plate in the normal direction to the plate, when the plate is inclined at an angle theta to the jet, then Fn is equal to m dot mass flow rate supplied and striking in this case will be same because the plate is stationary. So m dot striking rho AV, no doubt, rho AV into V1n minus V2n. V1n is what? V sin theta, and V2n is 0. And how come it is 0? That you must understand. Please refer to these two diagrams. Okay. And V sin theta minus 0. So you'll get V sin theta itself. So what the result is? Fn is equal to rho A V square sin theta. Fn sin theta is Fx. Some cases you have to find out Fx also in this case. Okay. So Fx kandupidikkayanengil Fn sin theta. In that case, Fn is already having a sin theta in the expression, rho A V square sin theta, then multiplied by Fn sin theta into sin theta. So rho A V square into sin square theta. Rho A V square into sin square theta, that will be the horizontal component of Fn. Vertical component of Fn is Fy kandupidikka downward ആയിരിക്കും അത്, and that is rho Fn cos theta. So rho A V square sin theta cos theta. So that also please keep in mind. You may be asked to find out the force exerted on the inclined plane normally when the plate moves in the direction of the jet. In that case, please find out Fn is equal to Fn you find out, and the expression will be rho A into V minus U whole square into sin theta, where V is the velocity of the jet and U is the velocity of the plate in the horizontal direction. A vertical plate hinged at the top end or suspended vertically, a jet is striking horizontally at the center, and if the plate is allowed to swing to one side through an angle phi, then that angle is given by sin phi is equal to rho A V square by W. Okay, that's important. And such, there are some questions in which we use the elementary engineering mechanics. Okay, the time is over. Okay, please study the concept carefully and then attend all the questions in the tutorial session coming next. So thank you so much.